Okay, so that's some testimony in the Jason Van Dyke trial. We are in verdict watch in that case, and we'll let you know if there's a development. But we want to talk now more about the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearing. And again, we expect the final vote by tomorrow, since it was determined today in a 51-49 procedural vote that debate on Brett Kavanaugh has ended, and the vote will advance through tomorrow. So I want to bring back in now Gene Rossi to talk more about it. Gene, welcome, and I want to ask straight up, what's your reaction to the 51-49 vote?
I'm not surprised, because this is a procedural vote, and essentially what the senators have decided, I think it was 51-49, is we've heard enough, we've gotten the reports, we're going to talk about this another 30 hours. So I got to stress to your viewers, although there were certain senators that voted to cut off debate, that does not mean that they are going to vote yes or no on Brett Kavanaugh. And there are 5 key senators: Manchin, Heitkamp, Collins, Murkowski, and Flake. Of course, Heitkamp already has said she's going to vote no at the end of the day. But those 4 other senators, I don't know where they're going to go.
Okay, so
they could vote yes, they could vote no.
Let's talk about Murkowski. So she voted no. She didn't want the debate to end. She wanted the debate to continue on Kavanaugh. Does that mean tomorrow she's going to vote no to confirm him?
Yes. In my view, if I were betting money, and I don't have a lot of money, I would say that Murkowski is probably going to vote no. So if you have Murkowski and Heitkamp, then all you need is 1 more, because if it's 2 out of 5, Vice President Spence can break the tie, be 50-50. So what they need is either Flake, Manchin, or Collins to vote no. Now, we are going to find out at 3 p.m. today whether Senator Collins votes yes or no. She's going to give a floor speech.
So I want to ask about where we are right now. What we learned this past week is that there was a supplemental report presented by the FBI in terms of a background check on Kavanaugh and these allegations put forward by these different accusers. Do you think that the FBI, I mean, I'm not sure I understand, even if you support Kavanaugh or you don't, why not interview him? Why not interview Dr. Ford? Why not interview about 40 different witnesses? Was it a restricted time frame? They had to get it done by the week? Or do they feel that there was nothing they could gain from those interviews?
All I can say is Merrick Garland is probably sitting at home very ill, because we rushed this investigation. Simply put, and I worked with the FBI for over 20 years, the FBI report issued, the 48 pages or 50 pages, is woefully, categorically inadequate. The 2 people that the FBI should interview is Dr. Ford and also Judge Kavanaugh, at a minimum, because the Senate hearings, frankly, half of the 5 minutes for each senator were just speeches, and the state prosecutor that they have from Arizona, I got to tell you, her questions were unremarkable. So we needed a fulsome interview of both the accuser and the accused, and if they had any witnesses that could possibly corroborate either way, they should have been interviewed. What happened was the White House impermissibly put a tight rein and a sharp bit on the FBI and did not allow them to do their job. I'm very disappointed.
What kind of questions would the FBI ask that would, elicit answers maybe we didn't see in a public forum? Is that what it is, too, if it wasn't in a public forum as well? Like, what is the difference between the questioning? I think a lot of people are curious about that.
Okay, let's focus on Dr. Ford. I would get into more of the timeline. When did she meet with her psychiatrist? When did she make statements to her friends and her husband? All that did not really come out during that hearing. Here's the other thing. How long was this event behind closed doors when the door was locked? How long were they in there? How long was his hand over your mouth? These are things. Maybe there was somebody at the country club who could corroborate that she worked that day and what she wore. There were so many questions that I would have asked to Dr. Ford permissibly, that a prosecutor or an agent would have asked if we were going to decide whether to prosecute the case. Now, regarding Brett Kavanaugh, I had a date sodomy case, and I brought in the accuser, who was a female sergeant, a Marine at Quantico, and I brought in the accused. And I sat down with him, with my agents, and we went through 2 hours of detailed questionings, not just about that day, but about his activities in high school and in college. And you got to understand this. There's an allegation by Deborah Ramirez, that a nominee to the Supreme Court assaulted with his private area a co-ed. There was no questioning on that. That is absurd. And let me add this, Jesse. In 1989, when I applied to be a trial attorney, they asked me, were there any events in your past that were embarrassing? I relayed to the FBI agent parties that I had at my house as a law student. And I'm going to tell you this. He interviewed a lot of people to see what happened at those parties. And that's how deep the background investigation goes.
And that's what we were hoping for.
I was just a trial attorney.
I know, and that's what we were hoping for. Now, Gene, we only have about 20 seconds. I'm just curious. The debate between the idea that he disqualified himself by his behavior in that hearing, there's others who say that he had a right to defend himself. We have only about 5 seconds left. I just want to ask you real quick.
His performance at the end was horrendous. His judicial temperament, as Judge Stevens said, by itself alone is a disqualifier. I would never want a person on the bench with that demeanor.
Okay, well, the senators are going to have to vote one way or another and see which way. They have a lot at stake here. Gene, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here on Law and Crime.